Hi, welcome to This Week in Property. I'm Jayashree Kuru. I'm editor NBTV. I have with me Prabhakar Sinha. He's the real estate editor of the Times of India. And we have land expert Ramesh Menon, always a favorite with us when we talk about land. Today we noticed that there is enhanced searches for land on the Magic Bricks portal. So we said, why not check out what's happening in the plotted markets across the country? And today we're talking about why every plot that you buy is not good for a consumer. And Ramesh, maybe you would like to tell us why. Set the tone so that we can have the discussion.
So plot was how India developed. You see, the apartment as a product category is relatively new. If you look at, it has only come in the past 30 years or so. Every and any city in India developed more on a plotted basis. Also because land was never a short supply, and typically one plot used to be one dwelling unit.
Right.
Till the apartment culture came in. So that's how we have evolved.
Yeah.
Whether all plots are good or bad, that's a very large debate. Said that post 2017, there are norms now which says, whether it's a plot or an apartment, you need to have a RERA registration,
Right.
you need to have certain valid licenses, etc. Which was not there earlier. That is why if you look at, let's say, Delhi as a city, recently we saw that 1700 odd unauthorized colonies got regularized.
Yeah.
Now they're all developed as plotted development. They were never apartments. To set the tone, whether you're buying a plot or a piece of land, make sure there are some valid licenses on it. That's the way to start.
Yeah. Okay. Prabhakar, opening notes from you?
Yeah, land basically, if you are a large ticket investor, then land could be a good alternative. Mainly because normally in Delhi and the nearby area also, the security is the biggest problem.
Mm-hmm.
And in the case of a land, normally when you are buying from say DDA land, or right now in Delhi DDA is the biggest supplier, and even in the Noida also or the Gurgaon also, the land is available individually. So they are not gated. And the problem is the security in that case, because if you have a land, even suppose you are buying land of 70 square yard or 100 square yard or 200 square yard, then to maintain the security particularly, that you need to have one security guard or something of that sort is very costly affair, number one. Number two, the other services like the plumbing, the electricity, electricians, and all those kind of a thing in a new area, you might not be aware that where is available and how to approach that.
That is after you've built your property.
Obviously, your own house. Now, but if you are living in a gated community, gated means the society, landed society, plot society only, which is developed by a private developer, then there you will have the security taken care of, and the other facilities also they are providing on phone. Now, but that is very costly, and that is not readily available also, because in that case the profitability of the developer is not very high normally.
Yeah.
And so sell at the price at which they have cost, and plus they add something more, something over and above that. So, but only thing is this, that those land, if developed properly, like say 15A sector in Noida. Now 15A sector Noida has come up very well because it's a gated, it has all the facilities, security and everything. So it commands a huge premium today, and it is more than 4 lakh.
So I'm going to take off from where you say. When you buy a plot of land for consumption either currently or in the future, one of the biggest things that you have to consider is location. Where is that plot located? You can get plots on the periphery of every city, and we have been tracking the plotted layouts. It's there available everywhere. But there are certain locations which seem to have an edge over the others because of certain reasons. Ramesh, 2 or 3 reasons that you should things that you should check when you look at location.
Yeah, location primarily, as I say, you have to look for the access to your plot.
Right. So that's a good transport connectivity.
Yeah. Access, the trunk lines which are laid by the government typically,
Right.
and two, the internal arterial roads which lead, come up to your plot. Two is the noise and disturbances typically that happen because of the social amenities and facilities around.
Yeah.
For example, make sure that your plot is not near, let's say, a waste management
Right.
center or whatever. And most importantly, the other infrastructure or shared amenities, are they, do you have access to them?
Right.
Like Prabhakar ji said, whether it is security, plumbing, electricity, etc., etc. The only point is, gated communities are a rarity in India.
Yeah.
Right? These are largely in private domain, and if you look at land as a category, the gated community may be less than 0.1%. Because if you look at any city development, for example, let's look at, say, South Delhi. A certain number of hectares were identified for development, and gated community as a concept did not exist earlier. Gated communities are typically 10 to 15 or 20 acres. It's a land which is bought by a private developer, and he tries to create a little oasis. But large developments typically happen on a plotted basis, where the government allots or land to a developer for him to subplot it. The recent development is because the plots have now been, earlier one plot used to be one dwelling unit. Now each plot can be 3 to 4 to 5 dwelling units. Hence, it has suddenly become a little more lucrative proposition to invest into plotted development.
Exactly. And we noticed that in established localities across markets which allow registration of single floors, we've noticed that the value of land, in plotted land, has started going up. Gurgaon, Ghaziabad, and in places where you don't allow individual registrations, a clear example is Noida. If you don't allow individual registrations of per floor, the plotted development has not, the prices have not gone up significantly.
Here I would like to point out one thing. Particularly, that's how the market has evolved over a period of time in NCR. See, even in DDA colonies, say, go to Vivek Bihar, any of these markets, Preet Bihar. Now, all these were earlier the individual houses. Even today it is individual houses. But, I mean, in one area, they have formed a kind of a RWA. They put a gate and a security guard, which they together pool money and pay that, and they try to create a gated community even there. Because security over a period of some time, for last around 30 years, 35 years, has become a big issue in Delhi. So what happened that now individual houses where there is no gated community, they could create either it was there earlier or they could not create later. The appreciation in prices is not much. Let me tell you the recent example of Friends Garden. Now, recently there was some hangama happened also there, and the property prices in that area has gone down, has depreciated
Yes. Yes.
in the last 10 days.
Yeah.
And I know about one guy, he's ready to sell, and he said that I want to move out from there now. Now the issue is this, that area is still not able to develop that gated community concept also. Only in some few pockets they have, but largely they don't have it. Because the plot size is very big, and so the gated community, they thought that they will have their own kind of thing. And so what I want to say is that now today the kind of a situation is evolving, and it is not only in India, in most of the third world country you will find that this concept has become very popular.
Yeah.
And this could be the demand of the time also, that the security and other things.
So there are two types of plots that you can buy. One is within the city, the ones that Prabhakar is talking about. They are available on resale. Somebody would have bought it, held on to it, and they are selling it. Then there is a lot of, on the periphery of every city, along the transport nodes, the corridors that lead to other cities, intercity corridors, you see a lot of plotted developments happening. Now, there are three types of plotted developments that come up. One is what the developers sell today in today's market, because the markets are slow. Many developers have opted to release a bit of their land as plotted development. Then you have a second one, which is more or less farmers, landowners who have with all the licenses, without some of the licenses, started cutting it into small plots. So it is just a boundary wall that you get around your plot. And the third one that you get is where the development authorities have either started a new corridor, which could be an outer ring road, a peripheral ring road, and so on. And to seed development, they have started selling some plotted developments. This is the essence of what we're talking about. In the city, you know that you have to pay more for plotted development, but these are areas where you can buy, build, and live. In the periphery, you have to wait. Let's talk about the advantages of both.
So you have to be very sure whether you're a consumer or a customer, whether you're buying for a consumption or whether you're making an investment for a future.
Yes.
So typically, if you're buying to consume or to live in, then you have to be sure about the facilities, amenities that come along with the plot. Right? If you're making an investment, and therefore the need is to buy something cheap, which has to be far away from the CBD areas of any city. Said that, one has to be very sure about whether the plot is authorized or unauthorized.
Sure. So that's the first thing, consumers, authorized, unauthorized.
So-
What are the parameters of authorization?
So authorization, one, today is very simple, whether a particular development on plotted basis which is being sold, whether does it have any kind of license on it, whether it is RERA approved, and whether the local city governance or administration does it recognize it as a colony.
Right.
So if you look at the norms, for a plotted colony, there are certain laid down norms which says right from a small mother dairy booth to a creche to a middle school, depending on the size of the development, all the norms for all amenities are already frozen across the country. If you're looking at an unauthorized development, then there is no provision laid down for any of this. For example, if you look at Delhi, for every 10,000 people, certain number of hospital beds also are defined in the master plan, which is like in all these cities. An unauthorized development does not factor any of it.
Right.
Although it might be cheaper, said that do not expect any amenities to come by organically.
Right.
It might mushroom over a period of time.
It normally does when an airport is announced. For instance, around the Jewar airport in Greater Noida, and you have the Panvel airport. That's when a lot of people start buying land, thinking that prices will. It is speculative buying.
So whether it is land, raw land, which is agriculture, which is raw material,
Yeah.
or whether you're buying a plotted.
Yeah.
So plot would mean that the use is defined.
Right. It
Raw
should be
land is raw
converted from
material.
agriculture to residential.
Already
To my mind,
converted.
it's a simple thing that if a plot has a sewer connectivity and if a plot has a water supply connectivity, electricity line has already come to that plot where you can build and you can live. But if you want to build a house with septic tank and all those kind of a facility, that means it is not developed area and it is not authorized.
True.
So
Now-
in that situation, the price appreciation of those plots in future might not be that fast or might not be that well as it is in the other. which is
Unless you
developed.
know that development is now going to come to this place
No,
and that has
two
been
ways,
planned.
There are two ways there.
So you're
No,
talking sewage lines, trunk lines
yeah,
of
it
sewage,
doesn't come.
water.
Now, if suppose you have built a house and then later if it is come, then it will come under the slum development side. Okay, then government has a department which develop all this, that once the colony has developed and these guys are living sub-human standards, so then government intervenes and government says that, okay, now the line should be laid in this area. But then the lot of cumbersome and then the line is also not properly laid, a lot of problem keeps on happening in that area. And the plot size is also small in all those areas. So I believe that that is not good for investment. Buying agricultural land means you should be ready to first surrender that land to the authority or the part of the land to the authority for these amenities to be developed, and then you'll have only some part of that land left with you. Not that entire land will be left with you.
So Rakesh Singh has written, what exactly is a plot? How does the government and private agencies define it? How can a buyer make sense of these definitions? You want to take that?
Yeah, a plot typically in the nomenclature of the government is something for which a use has been defined, which is licensed to construct for the purpose it is defined for. For example, you might buy a plot to build a shop.
Right.
right? So you cannot look at it being developed as a residential, or there are LSC, local shopping center, but there are some shop come offices, shop come
Before selling,
residences.
that authority develops all the amenities in that area.
Absolutely.
And
Any
then only
authority.
they start selling it.
So Jatin Sharma of Delhi says in places like Ghaziabad, Noida, Faridabad and Greater Noida, there are many options for plots in gated communities. These plots are within fully developed localities with RW in place. How can a buyer verify these plots and check ownership titles?
In most cases, ownership is now online.
Hmm.
Now online. So if you do a proper due diligence of it, and if you know, for example, in Bombay there is something called Sat Bara,
Right.
or in Delhi there is something called Mushtil Records,
Right.
or if you're talking about a plot, let's say developed by a company called DLF, right? So those records do exist. Only in the case of unauthorized colonies, there is no existence of any records.
However, one of the things we noticed when we were studying the Bangalore market is that all existing records are online. Now, it is what is available to the authority and has put it. There is no seal of approval that this is the last sale that has happened or something like that. But you can always go to the Dishank app or the Bhumi app in Bangalore, and you can check the status of the record. In case what you are buying from, you find that there is a mismatch. It's the onus is on you to go to the land authorities and say that there is a mismatch. Let me resolve this.
So let me add to that. Let's say an acre is 4,000 meters, and you're only buying a 100-meter plot. When if it is an authorized development or a licensed development, the 4,000 meter gets converted to 30 plots,
Right.
and each one is numbered. But if it is an unauthorized colony, all 30 plots will bear the same khasra number,
Right. And
because
then
there is no distinct identity given to the plot.
And that is what we mean by saying that when you have by a plotted development, which is not defined with numbers, as in a developer or a development authority, keeping that plot safe, you've bought 100 square meters, but when you go to build, will that 100 square meters indeed remain as 100 square meters? And who's looking after that plot? It's a difficult proposition, and it's a difficult asset to hold. Therefore, go for those plots where it is
Developed plots, civic amenities or services are a right.
Yeah.
Unauthorized colonies, it is not a right, because A, in the first place you bought or got into something illegal. Post facto, yes, the government does
Yeah.
connect you to the services, but it is illegal from day one.
Exactly. And number one, in those plots, the finding the track record of the holder of that property could be difficult. But if it is developed property, then there is a time period that, okay, last 50 years that plot was created, or 60 years that plot is created. So you can have a record that who hold this property in last 60 years.
Yes.
And so you will have a record, you can check it with the data that, okay, these guys have hold it, and you can personally meet
One
them also and find it.
legal point is that most unauthorized plots are GPA,
Yeah.
they are not registered.
they are general power of attorney.
General power of attorney. So, but let the viewers be aware. There's a Supreme Court judgment. I think it is from 2007, Surya Lamps versus the state, where the Supreme Court adjudicated that GPA is not a valid instrument of sales transaction.
Right.
So GPA is just a loose piece of paper. So tomorrow, unauthorized colonies or such plots might have a difficulty in trying to hold on to it, and liable for acquisition also,
Sure.
if the government wants it for some purpose.
Sure. Herald Wadke of, I don't know which city you're from, what are mandatory licenses for investing in a plot so that common buyers don't get stuck in legal concerns?
Mandatory license to invest? I mean, no license to invest, you need to have.
You
money
have to check.
invest.
What I think he means is how do you do the legal due diligence? There is there are 2-3 types of plots that you can have. One is, of course, which is like Ramesh said, which is converted for whatever purpose you're buying, either for commercial or for residential or for retail. That you know that you're buying from an authority which has got all the licenses. You're buying it for a particular reason. There is also another type of property which is from the development authority. Again, you know that you're buying into the residential zone, you're buying into retail zone or the commercial zone. When you buy in early stage developments on corridors which are from maybe unauthorized properties or semi-authorized properties, what happens is that you know who owns that plot, who owns the whole land, but you don't know which part of the plot you have. And these are to check all this out. You have to go to the BDA office, the DDA office, the GDA office, or the registrar's offices.
No, but of now with the introduction of RERA, most states have their RERA portal up. So if it is an authorized sale, licensed product, then it will be featured on
If
the
it is
RERA.
primary sale, if you're buying from the secondary market, you have to go to the
So
land
there are four
offices.
layers. If you see how a city is developed, or any colony for that matter, there is the master plan, then there are sectoral plans, there are layout plans, and there are the local area plans.
Yeah.
Right? If it is an authorized plot, it will feature in all four of them.
Right.
So all you have to be very sure is who initiated the development in the first place.
Yeah, and those maps are
If it is,
available.
if it is a government agency, you can be very sure that
Yeah.
it is included into the master plan of.
And numbers and everything is given. And even if it is a private
If it is
developer,
in the municipal areas, sometimes in the development areas or early stage development areas, it is the onus is on you to go and check out in the revenue offices.
No, even
But that
if it
is
is
not
from
developed
a
area.
private developer, let's say Gurgaon, initially 3 developers, namely DLF, Unitech and Ansals, developed plotted colonies. So it is no longer a Khasra number. It
It
is
is a
licensed to
license.
be sold as a residential plot.
Right.
yeah,
So
in Delhi, South
one
Tax
can
or
trace
the
it back
DPR.
all the way to
Yeah.
the last Khasra number. It is recorded in the government record.
So how do you access, which office do you access the government records in?
If you are playing, if it is liable for property tax, etc., you can go to the local municipal authority
Right.
or any other, or in, let's say Gurgaon, it could be Huda, in Bangalore, it could be BDA, whoever.
Yeah.
There are lawyers specializing in this kind of due diligence. For a small fee, it is best to seek their services.
So if you're putting in your money to buy a plot of land, it is worth spending a little bit to get a legal
Or
due
you can
diligence done.
also apply to the government within say 30 days or so. They are bound to give you a report which traces the antecedents of that land for the past 30 years.
Okay.
That records are available with all government agencies.
When I'm buying from a joint family and the family is now selling and there are multiple owners, the stakeholders, including minors, what are the things I should keep in mind?
That's very difficult.
No, it's very,
You have to trace the genealogy.
not really. You know, the fact is what makes them a bona fide seller.
Yeah.
There may be minors, etc., but what makes them a bona fide seller? That is most important. The other thing, if you're looking at land per se, I'm not saying talking about a plot.
Plot. We're talking
If it
plots.
is a
and-
land, make sure that the ladies of the house also are a signatory in the
Yes.
sales agreement, because post 2005
Particularly,
जैसे हमारे गांव में कहते हैं अभी बहनों का हक आ गया है, पहले नहीं
जैसे
था।
कि रोहतक रोड के ऊपर में जो बंगलोज बने हुए हैं,
हम्म।
उन सारे बंगलोज में अगर फैमिली के अंदर क्लियर कट डिवीजन नहीं हुआ है तो वो जॉइंट ऑनरशिप में होता है और उसमें लेडीज और जो माइनर्स हैं, माइनर को तो छोड़ दीजिए, बाकी सबका राइट्स होता है। तो जो लेडीज ऑलरेडी मैरिड हैं, तो अगर आप जब उनके यहाँ सेल डीड साइन होता है तो कम से कम 100-125 आदमी एक सेल डीड में साइन करते हैं। अगर एक भी आदमी रिफ्यूज कर दे साइन करने से और वो बाहर में है तो वो सेल डीड नहीं हो पाता है। और बड़ा उसमें है कि ठीक है, आप उतना पोर्शन छोड़ के बाकी आप खरीद लीजिए, and so then that becomes a very difficult proposition. So buying this kind of a joint property is very risky.
हिस्सा देख लें,
Yeah.
Yeah.
how many shareholders.
How many shareholders there are, and make sure that you've got the signatures of all the
All of them.
shareholders.
Otherwise, anybody can go in the court
That's
and get a stake.
Right. Karan Mathur of Delhi says, I have a family property in Delhi which we want to sell off and buy a plot in Ghaziabad. The plot we are seeing is very expensive and the property we're selling, the amount for that is only 80% of that land cost. We will have to take a loan of 40 lakh or more for construction of a house. What should we do? Please suggest.
Take a loan.
You can get a loan. Even for buying a plot, you can get a loan. But it is a combined loan. You get the loan for buying the plot, and within a year, construction has to begin on that plot of land. So it's not that plots you get no loans for plots. It is a different financial authorities give different rates of interest. So do your due diligence, figure out what is the best for you and buy it, but you can borrow money to buy plots.
If I may add, for any borrowing,
Yeah.
what is the underlying asset? The underlying asset is that piece of land that you have, which is the plot.
Yes.
Whether you use that money for construction, refurbishing, etc., is irrespective.
Yeah.
The bank is hypothecating that piece of land and lending you money.
Right. But there is with the rider that you have to construct on it. I think
Yes, in
lenders
case, I am again talking about from the bank standpoint, if you do not, or if you misappropriate that money,
Yeah.
then that land is hypothecated
Right.
to the bank.
Right. There is Amit Yadav of Noida who says, what's the difference between the plot located in a gated community and plot which are on open lands? Should you buy a plot directly from a landowner?
No, gated communities normally is by the developer who has.
It can be
developed
a
the
gated community simply means that there is a peripheral wall and there is facilities are provided within that for the plot owners, and it has been constructed as a
So,
authorized
gated
License
community is a
is
recent,
authorized license.
license service secured and then
recent
it is-
phenomena,
Yeah.
gated community. It was never existent. If you look at Prabhakar ji said Greater Kailash or Vasant Vihar or Sant Kunj, the roads there typically are Amrasta.
Yeah.
Right? You cannot put gates on either of them. But when you talk about a gated community, the developer has sought specific permission from the government to make a gated community. Otherwise, all roads are typically Amrasta. You
Right.
cannot stop the access of common people from
Right.
accessing those services. The internal roads of gated community are treated as private property. The internal roads of all open colonies are Amrasta.
Right.
That's the difference.
And should you buy directly from the landowner only if you have he has a relevant permissions to sell it as for
So,
whatever.
developer typically is an entity.
Yeah.
A landowner is an individual. Right? So, licenses typically are issued to entities because there is incidence of taxes,
Yeah.
GST, etc. So, very rare that you would find an individual selling an authorized piece of land.
Heram Vakde is back with another question. How does one find out the best optimum price for a plot? As in, there is something like a ready reckoner rate as it is in the case of residential houses. I don't think there are.
There is a ready reckoner rate,
Yeah.
which is the
land.
collector rate, as they say in many states.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the basically stamp duty.
Yeah,
on
which
you
is
have
the
to-
base price, but
Yeah.
that is not the indicator of the actual market value,
The market value could be high and low also now.
higher or lower.
And to know the market value, you really need to do a little legwork. You need to talk to.
Typically, talk to the local brokers, north, east, west, south. The plots around it.
Yeah.
Typically, you can get indicative price, but collector rates is not an indication of the actual market value.
If registries of plots happen in unauthorized colony, then why these colonies are illegal?
So it is unauthorized colonies. There is no registry possible. Okay, if you want to really know let's say legally, agriculture land below the size of 1 biga cannot be registered.
Mhm.
So 1 biga is about 1,000 square yards.
Mhm.
Unauthorized colonies sell 50 square yard, 70 square yard, and 100 square yard plots. So they cannot be registered legally. Hence the incidence of GPA.
Yeah.
No, but once government legalized it and authorized it, declare it, okay, now they are the authorized colony, then after registry can happen.
Yes.
But only thing is this, that because that was unauthorized, so the other amenities have not been developed properly in that area. Like you go to Lakshmi Nagar, sorry to name, I mean, any of these colonies, they are authorized colony now, registries are also happening. But you see the amenities in that area, and you go to the Preet Vihar, just next door. Now there, that is an authorized colony, and you see that road and other amenities in that area, that is a class apart.
Because when you're authorizing a certain piece of land for plotted development, you're also authorizing the roads, you're authorizing the community facilities. There must be space for primary health care, for
Yeah, government
schools and
lays
so on.
sewer and all these amenities,
Yeah.
once the construction has already been done. So because of that, those development inside that colony is not proper.
If you really look at the registration document, the registrar typically registers plot number 1 in colony number so and so, etc. for an authorized development.
Yeah.
If it is an unauthorized colony, it just says Mr. So and so
Hmm.
bearing 1/40th share of Khasra number so and so.
Correct.
And
Right.
north side of this flat is this man
Yeah.
is living, south side is this, east side is this, one side
So
is the road. and
when,
like that.
when the government authorizes some colonies now post facto, they go back and enumerate each property. So it's a
And-
plot number.
And
is
assign
given.
a plot number.
And assign a plot number, which then gets registered.
Then it's-
And the revenue department or the municipal authorities also recognize that plot number. If it is an agricultural land, it does not get recognized because the stated purpose is agriculture, not residential.
Right. And
So
remember
restricted.
that once your plot number is assigned to you, you have to pay your land taxes every year.
That's why the government nowadays, they have just legalized all these colonies,
Yeah.
central government. So now their registry is allowing, so they are giving them the specific number so that they can go and get it registered.
Pradeep Kumar of Delhi says my budget is 1.1 crore, including the construction cost, and I want to buy a plot in Delhi NCR. Where can I get the plot and construct a 3 floors house for my family? Please help. Pradeep, there are many things that you have to consider. I'm glad he put a question like this. One is which part of the town you want to stay in. How close is it to your place of work, your children's educational hubs and entertainment hubs where you go for maybe a meal somewhere and things like that. Once you see that, then you have identified which part of the town you want to stay in. After that, you search what are the what kind of plots are available, and then you go and see which one matches your requirement. It can't be that there's something available in the north part of the city when everything that you want is in the south part of the city, because your transport costs will kill you after that, right?
That's the story I kind of repeat often. Earlier days, people used to buy a property and allow their life to revolve around the property. Today, the property has to revolve around your life.
Right.
So,
With this kind of money, he can buy property, landed property anywhere outside Delhi. In Delhi, it could be still problematic for buying a property, land property in authorized colony for 1.1 crore. But in Noida, Greater Noida, Gurgaon, Faridabad, Ghaziabad, everywhere he can buy. Obviously in Gurgaon, the size of the plot will be a bit smaller, 100 square yard. In Noida, it can be 200. In Greater Noida, it could be 300. Even Yamuna, 400 square yard also he can buy with the same money. So it is on him to.
So
where to
since
buy.
you have a budget constraint, you have to see first what is available, which one suits you best, which plot suits you best, and then go for it. There is, I'm getting a plot in 90 lakh in Ghaziabad in a society set up by government officials. There are only plots in that location, but it is a gated community with guards and security and power backup. What due diligence we need to do for this type of society set up by a community of journalists, lawyers, doctors, or judges?
If it is a society and it is society is giving him a ticket,
Check the land title. You actually, like Ramesh said, go online and check whether it is an authorized development. If it is authorized, what is it authorized for? And the plot that
Yeah,
you're
so
so
buying.
if you look at the society movement, you see when the housing boom happened in 70s and 80s, or the demand rose up, it was only the government which was developing residential colonies. There weren't too many private developers. So the government then said, create your own society and we'll allot you land which you can develop yourself,
Yeah.
right? To accelerate the process.
But it came with approvals.
Of course, yes,
Yeah,
gave with
obviously.
approval. So this specific society, which one it is, you have to just go back and
And
see
land is
what is the-
allotted by the government. only.
yeah, what is the charter? If you look at Delhi, typically the entire Patpatganj area, Dwarka came up
Malur
as society.
Yeah.
Government allotted land to
And
them.
this is the plotted society. The plotted society was earlier there in Delhi also, like in Pitampura, Vaishali was the plotted society. In Rohini, there are many of the plotted society. Similarly, in the Ghaziabad and other area, now they are coming up with the plotted society.
Right.
So he can go to the office of registrar and say that, okay, in that plotted society, whether that membership is vacant or not. And when he's paying, he should get the membership in that society itself.
Right. And the society NOC is required
Yeah.
when you buy
So
in a
society was only a vehicle.
Yeah,
Right.
society was a
Vehicle only. One still has to do the due diligence about the specific property and the plot.
Exactly.
And
And
society can sell it.
And the society can sell it. You need the NOC from the society. You have to check that title deed that you have been shown is matches with what is on the records.
There is registrar of societies for this purpose.
Yeah.
You should check with the registrar of societies. There's Dev Singh of Shakti Khand who says, my family has recently seen a plot in the Delhi NCR area. The area has many plots. My father saw one plot which we liked, but this plot has another plot. So there are two plots out of which we want to buy one. How do you measure the correct area so that the other plot owner does not create problems when you have already constructed a house there saying we encroached on his area? Again, go back to the land title.
So if it is an authorized development, the sizes are defined.
Yeah, map is there. In the map, you can measure it that what is the size, and then there you can point it out that this is my land.
And the land office can measure it for you, right?
नहीं measure करके देते हैं. If you go to the Patwari, they come and वो निशानदेही कहते हैं. वो चारों कोने पे निशान लगा देते हैं.
Right.
This is the
Your property.
property.
Right.
And when you go to the for approvals, based on that Nishandehi, they always tell you what kind of offsets you have to leave front
Right.
and all four sides.
Right.
So if it is an authorized development, whether it's a developer selling or it's a government agency selling, Nishandehi होती है.
So
आप
you-
उसमें बाउंड्री लाइन बना सकते, बाउंड्री वाल बना के फिर जितना ऑफसेट छोड़ना है छोड़ के
तो जब आप खरीदोगे, make sure that you've gone to the Patwari's office, you've got that Nishandehi done, so that you are protected.
They come and hand over the piece of land to you.
Yeah.
Always.
or otherwise the DDA or the plot, then the junior engineer comes and he will hand over that property to you.
Ajit Singh of Noida says, are Vasundhara, Shakti Khand and Vaishali safe places to buy plots? Where can we check the land titles and verify the owners? Again, in the registrar's office, the Patwari office, like Ramesh said,
Revenue department.
the revenue departments, they will come when you want to buy a piece of land, you go to the revenue office. The seller will give you one title deed. That title deed has to be checked against the revenue office, so that the revenue officials come and actually measure the plot of land and put the markings so that
Yeah,
you're.
so what makes the seller a bona fide seller? Either he's got it by inheritance, or he's got it by purchase, or he's got it by allotment. So that document is always available. Easiest is to trace the records at least 30 years.
That's a good thing for you to do. Wherever you buy a piece of land, make sure that at least 30 years back you should trace the.
I believe all this paper is available with the circle officer or the collectorate, I mean revenue officer.
Revenue office.
Correct.
For all agricultural land, revenue office. And the records go back to almost 1950s.
Yeah.
So that's not really, it's available. And if you look at Delhi, almost all the villages now, the records are online.
Yeah.
So with enhanced computerization,
No, but this is the developed area, developed by the.
developed area, so even, see, the development started from
Yeah.
a piece of agriculture
It
land.
is easier to find out.
Easier
here
to
in this
find
case.
out. yeah.
Many states have actually done a good job with their land title documentation, not only for the main cities but even for rural parts of the state. The states have done it. Not every state is fully computerized, but a large part of your transactions and the present transactions do go online. As a result, it becomes easier for you to check. But like the revenue officer told us in Bangalore, the Dishank app tells you what is actually there, and they have actually digitized that. But that is not a verification that there has been no further sales. If you notice that whoever selling you has sold you something that is not what is listed with the revenue office, you go there and you raise a complaint saying that this is what I've been given, and the revenue officials will do a due diligence and give you the corrected version.
When you are going to purchase a property, so lot of diligence has to be
Yes.
taken care of. Only that, not that now the seller, whether he is the legal owner of the property, that has to be checked. Now, if he has some major son or the major brother, and if that property was bought when his brother was minor and that was in the joint, so all those things has to be taken care
In
of.
fact, that genealogy is something that when you do a legal due diligence, they actually do that to figure out whether there's anyone else who can stake a claim, especially when it is resale.
One last bit, whether that piece of plot or land has been hypothecated against a business loan or anything. For example, if you're looking at agricultural land, most often I've seen, the revenue department is informed that that piece of land has been hypothecated for the purchase of a tractor.
Okay.
Or let's say a businessman has taken a business loan against the plot. So you might pay the entire money, but then the bank might stake a claim tomorrow on the same piece of land.
Exactly.
So due diligence also has to be done on the financials of the seller.
Sure.
I believe this aspect government should take care of now. That if you are owning a car, and now if you have taken a loan on that car, so in your license, the car's paper, no, that is mentioned that the license this
Is
has been
hypothecated.
taken, hypothecated only. So if you want to sell that property again, the cars to somebody, then you'll have to clear that loan, and that guy will come
Right.
to know of it. Similarly, in the land also, I believe the government should start recording all this.
So if it is an agricultural land, the local branch of the bank, which actually dispense the loan, they intimate the revenue office. But when if it's a piece of plot, right, which is developed, the government actually holds no responsibility on that because it's private property from then on.
Yeah, no, but that's why the revenue department, who basically again allowing it to register to some other's
Yeah.
name, then they should have that record.
But
So-
that is there.
No, they have. It is not mandatory.
Yeah, it's not
for
mandatory.
that bank to
Yeah.
inform that revenue
True.
officer that was. It is now loan has been taken on this, or this property has already been sold to this guy. Now, if that guy is going to sell it again, then that revenue department will say that no, you can't sell it. You have already sold it.
So I was advising a client on buying a very large property of a fugitive businessman.
Mhm.
I thought it's very important because then I consulted some very, very senior lawyers. They said, even if it is sold by a bank, right, that asset, that land owner or the property owner can claim at least for the next 12 months.
Okay.
So it's not that if it is a hypothecated property and the bank is selling it, the original owner cannot come back and
See, he
take a
has,
claim.
so he has 12 months to stake a claim.
Yes, he has. So which would mean that, let's say I
12
borrowed
months
from the date of sale.
from the date.
This was a legal opinion given to us.
Yeah.
Hence, we actually went back and built that risk into the price that we offered to the purchase.
Yeah. Okay. Nitin Sharma of Ghaziabad says, do all plots need to be RERA registered? Only if it is primary sale. If the sale is happening, if any developer, authority or individual is cutting out plots after 2017, you
If
have
he's
to,
developing that property and with more than 6 plots in that property, then that developer requires to register that deal or that property with the registrar that okay, I am doing it and I am selling this property. If he's willing to sell it also, then
yeah,
only.
yeah.
Now then it is required to register. Otherwise, and once that is offered, that is sold, that registry is withdrawn, that is cancelled. So after that, RERA is not involved in that.
After delivery of the plots, then RERA is
Not
not
involved.
involved.
RERA has very limited role in this.
प्रफुल्ल गोस्वामी asks, plots में डर होता है कि कहीं कोई कब्जा न कर ले. Why is it so risky to buy a plot and what are these laws जो कब्जेदार को land rights दे देते हैं, if any? कब्जेदार को land rights नहीं मिलते, वो छीनता है. So, but the point is that if your title is clear, and why is plot, again we will reiterate that plots are difficult to maintain if you buy it from, if there's no one who has taken the responsibility of keeping it safe for you.
No, so the government maintains the records for you.
Yeah.
If it is an authorized development, when you talk about a mutation, what does mutation mean? Mutation means the revenue records have been amended and included the new owner's name. So उस पे कब्जा होता नहीं है, अमूमन कब्जा होता है. कोई जोर जबरदस्ती कर रहा हो तो अलग चीज है. But it is, you can always lodge a police complaint and then the police will ensure that they evict the.
Yeah. Legally it's yours and you will have to make that effort. If you buy it from a developer or an authority, you know that piece of land has been taken care of for you.
Yeah, but for that, what he said is very important, that get the property commuted in your name.
Yes.
And if you have not done it, then the earlier seller can sell it to somebody else. And that guy, if get it commuted on his name, then you will be out.
That commuting the property in your name, the
Very
title in your
important.
name is very
Very
important.
important.
There's Naresh Kumar of Noida who says, I want to buy a plot in Ghaziabad and the size can be 80-90 meters. Where can I look for it? What will be the cost of such plots and how much do one pay to construct a house? You are actually asking us for advice on where to buy, how to buy. What you have to do is go on to Magic Bricks, a portal like Magic Bricks. Search for your property. Many of them are listed on the portal. Check out what sizes and have what prices listed. Those are the price that the seller is asking for. Once you know that, broadly, that there is some amount of negotiation that's possible. After that, you have to, how much does it cost to construct the property? Depends on what you want to construct. There you will have to go to professionals and ask how much it costs to construct the kind of property.
It's normally 1,500 rupees per square feet.
That includes the finishing.
Yeah.
That includes the finishing.
Divya Kumar of Navi Mumbai says, how do banks finance plots? How do I check whether the plot I'm buying will get a bank loan? Should I first check with the bank for a loan and then buy the plot of land and then apply for a loan? What do you suggest?
Not many banks finance plot purchase.
Some banks have started
Some
doing
banks have started doing it. Banks are mainly financing the construction of that plot.
Right.
But if one has a good income, then against that income, hypothecating that property, banks gives the loan, provided you are assuring the bank that we are going to construct a house here to live. Because the problem here is that normally the home, and the rate will be higher than the home loan.
That's right.
So the rate will be somewhere around 10% or 11%, 2 or 3% higher than that. But for that, he or she will have to do some legwork to find out the bank who is willing to fund that property. And again, the property should be clear of any encumbrance and should be in her name.
Yeah.
Then only they will buy. Sell
Okay.
it.
Ravi Divakar says, how safe is a plot where owner has got the plot but there is no registry done by him? He wants to sell the plot and use the money to register and then transfer to the new buyer. Please help.
I'm not very sure about the question, but
Even I am not.
if it is,
No, it's a very
how does he
typical
become a
situation.
bona fide seller?
Hmm.
Right? How did he, what makes him a seller? Did he
Yeah.
inherit the plot? Did he purchase it? Did it get allotted? Did it come to the owner by way of gift, etc.? If it is not registered, which would mean
That means it is the plot is not mutated in his name.
no, every piece of land in India belongs to someone, right? And the government records reflect that. Now,
Yeah.
if this plot, if it is an authorized development, then definitely it's listed somewhere.
Yeah.
What makes the seller an actual seller will be reflected in the registration documents.
Right.
It's unlikely that he doesn't have any document.
But if he is a GPA on his name on that.
That's what I'm saying. If it is a GPA, then there is not enough protection for the buyer.
Can he get the loan against the GPA?
No. Banks really don't fund GPAs.
And if he says that, okay, I'm going to get it registered on my name, the moment I'll pay him this much amount.
You see, if you look at unauthorized colonies, there were a lot of registrations done from other states, which was an activity illegal in itself. Let's say, for example, a Delhi property being registered in Jharkhand
Chennai, yeah,
or Chennai.
yeah.
It was, even that is not getting recognized as an activity now. Because when you go to mutate the property in your name, the local government does not recognize it. In most states now.
Amin Singh, we are getting way too many questions. We will have to call it a day. My producer will indicate when these are the last few questions that we're going to take. Amin Singh of Ghaziabad says, how does the government authority allow construction on plots in places like Vaishali? How many plots need to be constructed and how will it be constructed?
There's a norms for the construction and that you'll have to do it according to that norms and for that approval has to be taken
Yes.
from the local body.
And those are the building bylaws of the city.
Yeah.
So you have to go to an architect who will explain this to you. You can go to the authority and figure out what the norms are, but you do need an architect's plan before you can get the sanction.
Said that governments across the country have, aankhein band kar li hai towards unauthorized construction.
Yeah.
Which is the sad part.
Yes.
There's no control of any government across any of the states. That is why we have, the capital of India is proud, only city after Rio probably, which has 5,000 unauthorized colonies, and we all pat each other, or the politicians are happy
To authorize
to authorize and stupid as it sounds, Delhi is the only city which also has authorized unauthorized colonies and unauthorized authorized colonies.
Deepak Singh says due to NGT issues like Okhla Bird Sanctuary in Noida, there have been problems for both buyers and developers. How can a buyer check that his plot doesn't fall in any kind of regulation zones? Is there one place from where all restrictions on land can be known?
If it is a plot, RERA is a good indicator to start with.
And the architect can tell him, particularly in Delhi, suppose there are many monuments, so and this kind of a sanctuary. So if you are buying a plot which is coming under that no further construction zone, it's a very unique situation. Like you go to Nizamuddin, now no new construction can be done in that area. So though your neighbor has already built a house, but now if your land is empty, you cannot build a house there because no further construction.
Those are special areas.
Yeah,
And that's, I think, what he did ask for.
So you'll have to find out.
Regulation zones. How do you figure that out? You will have to take the help of professionals.
Yeah.
The legal due diligence helps, the architect's due diligence helps, and a banker's due diligence helps. Lata Verma of Gurugram wants to know, I want to buy a plot in Gurugram. What kind of approvals you need to construct your own house in Gurugram from the authority?
Oh, now everything is online. If you have a registered architect, they can file the application and you can get an approval in 30 days, right? Straight from the municipal authorities.
Right.
That's not really a problem.
Vinita Sharma of Gurugram says, can we buy different builder flow apartments in Gurugram so that we have the entire building, or you suggest to buy plot and then construct? What I think what you mean is, if one builder has made 4 floors, is it better to buy 4 floors as 4 individuals?
It depends on their need actually.
It doesn't matter because both of them have to be legal. If it is legal, you are protected. Then it is the convenience of having similar people in one house. But even if you buy individual floors in Gurugram, it is registered in your name.
Just one caveat, for example, on builder floor, let's say the government is allowing 17-meter height.
Yeah.
Make sure that you are not buying the top floor which is built above the 17 meters, because then it's an illegal dwelling unit.
Also, match it to what was sanctioned. In many cases, builder floors have been overbuilt.
And in some cases, for example, in some cities, they only allow you to build 2 kitchens.
Yeah.
Let's say 4 dwelling units on 4 floors. In the layout plan, they may not have shown a plumbing point or a kitchen.
Okay.
So make sure you match it with the approvals that have been sanctioned.
Yeah. So approvals are your guideline. What was approved is that what's on the ground.
And I believe that paper can be available in the authorities.
Yeah.
Yes. Hiram Vakde is back with one more question. What is the ROI for a plot in Shahapur region, which is on the outskirts of Thane? I'm open to wait for a period of 10 to 12 years. Also, any clue on review on company by name? He's mentioned a company. This is the company which is selling these plots in a gated community. First of all, Hiram Vakde, nobody can sit, even if I tell you that that's a good company, I would still say go for your due diligence. Nobody who doesn't have the papers in hand can advise you whether some company is good or some plot is good, right, Ramesh?
Yeah, sure.
And the second thing is that when you're looking for 10 to 12 years, would you like to say how long you should hold a plotted development if you're an investor?
There are no timelines, but typically if you're making any investment, you take anywhere upward of 5 years for it to actually deliver any returns. Because the short-term returns, which is how the investor used to trade amongst themselves, it is always fraught with risk. It's like the share market: you buy morning, sell evening. That's not how you must look at it. Real estate is real. You have to make a real investment and hold it for a realistic period of time. To my mind, it should be always upward of 5 years.
And remember that a lot of people say that when you say 5 years, the last 5 years have not yielded good results. Yes, it has been a slow market, but that doesn't mean that the no plot has appreciated in value.
No, there has been appreciation.
There has been.
ROI is very difficult,
Yeah.
particularly that will depend on lot many other things, that what kind of development is happening in
Yeah.
nearby area. And if suppose some institution is coming up or something else, new development is coming up, then the price might appear.
There are 4-5 things, like Prabhakar said. If there is a commercial hub coming up, the value of the plots go up. If there is any large infrastructure project like flyovers, expressways, maybe metro. These are all drivers for, they drive up the value.
Plots
of house.
typically also the easiest indicator is habitation.
Yes,
Habitation happens only when physical and social infra comes in.
right.
So, if let's say 70% of a particular layout is habited, it's a good investment and it has already delivered the ROI.
Right.
And you see the benchmark that what is the nearest, say, 3 kilometer, 5 kilometer, the nearby developed area, what is the price there and at what price you are buying. So because your price appreciation will depend on the nearby area also. If the nearby area is 100,000 rupees per square meter and you are buying at 20,000 rupees per kilometer at 5 kilometer away, but
It has a potential to
It has
go up
potential to go up.
if all, everything else
exactly.
matches.
So many factors, has to be seen.
And one last question I'll take. Mohit Goswami of Pune says, should you put out a notice in the newspaper before buying a plot so that there is no dispute later on?
This is done typically for large ticket investment, not for individual plots.
Yeah.
If you are buying agricultural land, for sure you must, so that you have informed everybody that if there is anybody taking a claim, should come in now.
So we were running a poll while we were discussing who would you like to buy plots from. 73% says government authority, 9% say individual seller, 18% say builders. Even today, government authority plots seem to have a huge mandate from consumers who feel that they are protected.
For
because
two reasons. A, it is the government which will challenge you tomorrow, but they can't challenge you on something they sold themselves.
Yeah.
Two, governments do not keep a large margin for themselves when they sell.
Yeah.
Hence, it is always in the affordable category. Said that, don't trust the government much because they are the least in terms of delivery of services. They do plan, but delivery is suspect. Anytime you have the government developing.
So you will,
Yeah,
you will see.
if it is under development by the government, then you cannot be sure that when they are going to deliver it. But if it is already developed and now they are auctioning it, then better you buy it from the government.
Right. And typically when you buy a plot, remember there should be trunk lines for sewerage, there should be water supply provisions, and there should be power supply, so that you know that at least the basics are covered, after which you can.
Government should get out of this manufacturing business and they should become the adjudicator and the protector of consumer rights.
Right.
Because government has never been a good manufacturer. If you look at, trace it back, post-independence, let's say 60s and 70s, there was no private sector worth its mention. Hence the government took upon itself to run airlines, hotels, build houses, schools, hospitals. But today there is a very strong private sector.
Yeah.
Government should monitor that sector
And
in terms of
facilitate.
delivery
Yeah.
and facilitate.
No.
Thank you so much for watching this Week in Property. I'm Jayashree Kurup, this is Prabhakar Sinha and Ramesh Menon.